Hi, and welcome to the Awakening series. My name is Kimberly Archuleta. This is a series where we bring brilliant minds together. Today, we have a wonderful guest. His name is Spencer Beaudreault. He is the founder of Hero, a CBD firm, and we're going to learn all about it. Spencer, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Super happy to have you on. Spencer is very much into fitness. I used to be into fitness more, maybe not so much now. But yeah, we both have a passion in regards to CBD. And I wanted Spencer to join the series and talk a bit about his journey with CBD and fitness and everything else. So Spencer, welcome. And again, thank you for your time. Give us some insight about your journey in regards to fitness and then CBD.
First off, thank you for having me. Fitness has been part of my life, all my life. I played football in college. I played a little bit of football overseas. With that, I went through a ton of injuries. I tore my ACL twice, my lateral meniscus, had several herniated discs. And then I've been through the ringer when it comes to injuries. And a lot of that experience and a lot of, what I went through with that, got me to really get curious with plant-based, nutraceuticals, plant-based medicines, and got me wanting to explore deeper into cannabis and CBD. A couple years ago, was it 3-4 years ago, is when that CBD boom happened. And that's when, my curiosity just kind of grew. And, in the beginning of 2019, I started Hero, which was formerly known as Hero Complex. The reason why I came up with that name is because, through personal training, I always felt like I had a hero complex. I always wanted to help people. It gave me that joy, that pleasure to really, help people improve, help people with their issues, help people get through things. And that's, really what I wanted to, accomplish with Hero through our products, through our CBD products, our Delta 8 products, and then, soon down the road, actual cannabis and THC products.
That's amazing. 3 years ago, it was still wild west, which I think it still is in regards to cannabis, but back then it was even more so. What are your thoughts as far as where you were then to where things are now with cannabis?
Oh my God. So 3 years ago when I started, I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. It was a huge crash course and learning process. But I feel like we've progressed so much, and mainly on social platforms, I guess is where that thought, comes from. I guess the biggest thought comes from is in regards to how, we've progressed, because on social media 3 years ago, would get banned everywhere. I remember that I would used to post, cannabis pictures, promoting, different products, saying certain things, advocating for certain things. And I'm sure you've heard the term shadow banned. I'm almost convinced that I was shadow banned, even though they don't really tell you. So you're kind of like in this weird, unknown type of area when it comes to that. But, it forced me to explore other options on how to market, how to talk about cannabis, how to word things, because it's not federally regulated. It's not federally legal. So you have to be careful with how you word things. But I feel like we've made a lot of progress in the past 3 years. And I'm liking where everything is trending.
Me too. Absolutely. I couldn't have imagined having started a CBD company 3 years ago and enduring such situations and frustrations of an amazing product that you have that can help so many people, and then you can't even promote it. The frustration.
At all. Yeah, and that's because it mainly stems from it not being federally regulated and legal. So the federal banks don't back it. So most ad platforms that deal with money through the federal banks, they'll I guess get denied with that type of stuff. So they don't even want to put up with the risk. So a ton of platforms don't allow it. So I would have to search the depths of the internet on for certain platforms that would allow advertising, and it it was tough to do so.
Absolutely. And I think we still have that. But like you said, it is so much different. It definitely has grown. And I think with education, which is what we're doing now, I think people have a new understanding of how important CBD is in their daily diet.
Mhm.
So if you can give me some insight about your products and really what your goal is for this company.
Yeah, so our motto is plants over pills. I have my own personal experience with prescription medications, painkillers, and I've gone down my own personal like dark slope when it comes to those things. I have family members that have done the same, close friends of mine that have done the same. I played football in college, so I've had a ton of my friends, have really, really bad issues with painkillers, with Percocets, and I saw what can transpire because of that. So I always wanted to find a healthier alternative, a more natural alternative to deal with, pain, stress, anxiety, depression, and even sleep, because a lot of times, sleep correlates with all those things. If you get terrible sleep, it's a high chance that you're going to be stressed out, you're going to have anxiety, and you're going to be dealing with pain and stuff like that. So, with my products, we offer CBD products, CBN products, and Delta 8 products. And we have a CBD capsule, a CBD DMSO muscle roll on, a CBD CBN gummy for sleep, a Delta 8 gummy, and that is it for now. But we are coming out with more.
I think that's so good to have like a startup company and to start with less SKUs to make sure those particular products do well on the market. I think that's super brilliant. So that like, the next product you roll in, it's going to do well because, the other three have done well compared to having a slew of like 15 products. It's like,
yeah. And you'll see a lot of people do that too. Like I wanted to start off a little smaller. One, because like when you're starting off, like when you're one single person, opening up a business now, like I have partners, but before when I was by myself, like a lot of manufacturers would have minimum order quantities. So like you would order and that you'd have spent, like if I got 15 SKUs, that's 500 units at 15 SKUs. That's a lot of money. So, where I would start with one SKU, two SKUs, and then, slowly kind of build up. But not only that, like find quality products. Products that actually work for myself, that I can actually speak from the heart about. And I feel super confident with the products that I have now that I can speak from the heart, and my customers can as well.
Right. What's interesting is I've known quite a few people throughout the years that are like, I won't take CBD. I won't take CBD. And literally the moment that they finally, gave in and just tried it and started it and kind of created this regimen for themselves, their entire lives have changed. One being my brother, who was like, I can't, I just am not going to go there. Now he's able to sleep. I mean, so many things are regulated in his body. Like his life has changed. I mean, just being able to sleep, the regulation of sleep, it's a game changer. All moms know this as far as being like a mom, like to be able to have like a sound, sleep is priceless.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's funny that you said like consistency is key with it. So a lot of people don't even realize that CBD is working for them until they take it for a period of time and then they stop taking it. And then they're mindful of, oh man, it really was working. But yeah, like you're right. Like if you can improve your sleep, even like, 50%, 60%, that's going to make your life so much better because you're not going to be dealing, with, the stresses that come with being tired, the aches and pains of, when you have bad sleep and stuff like that. It changes your life tremendously.
Absolutely. And for those that are new to CBD, because a lot of people are, just to give you some insight, CBD and your endocannabinoid system, which is a system within your body that actually regulates more things than your immune system. This is, for example, so in regards to CBD and endocannabinoid system, the cannabis plant produces phytocannabinoids that also interact with your endocannabinoid system. So CBD is a phytocannabinoid derived from the cannabis and hemp plant. I love that one of my docs said this. He says it wasn't placed on earth, by accident, this plant. It was placed on earth for a reason. It works directly with our internal system to regulate and balance it. And when you find something that works naturally, organically, via a plant, I mean, isn't that the best health system for your body.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, like our biggest motto with Hero is plants over pills. There's so much, so many pharmaceutical, prescription drugs that are being pushed out there on people. And it's like a never ending cycle. It's like you start one thing and then you get hooked on it. But then because you get hooked on that thing, then you get a side effect from it. So you got to take something else. And then when you take that other thing, you get hooked on that, create another side effect, and then you got to take something else. And then it's just like this never ending cycle. And we don't need, manufactured drugs like that. We don't need them. Like we can take these plant-based, medicines and utilize them over a consistent period of time so they get built into your system, and then you don't need all that stuff.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I just want to go back to the endocannabinoid system, because again, it's quite new to many people, the term, and it's actually even new to physicians because they weren't being taught anything about the endocannabinoid system, which again regulates more than what our immune system does just 10 years ago. So the endocannabinoid system regulates and controls many of our most critical bodily functions, such as learning, memory, emotional process, sleep, temperature control, pain, inflammation, and immune responses, and eating. So if we all know that, inflammation is like what disease, comes from, basically, this regulates this particular situation within our body. Why wouldn't we start, a step into the right direction by educating ourselves and then seeing what works for us? Like you said, it definitely has to be in the diet for some time. Consistency is key. I love that you said that. But again, just educating oneself, even if for your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, isn't in the know in regards to CBD, but giving this information to them and allowing them to try it. Here in Colorado, it's obviously legal, thankfully. But it's just something that we need to continue to educate, everybody from young to old. So I'm just really happy that we are having this conversation, and the fact that you have, this product. If you wouldn't mind giving me a little bit of insight about Delta 9.
So Delta 8, yeah. So Delta 8 is, if you think of the chemical structure of Delta 9, right? Like you have like your links and chains of the chemical structure. So Delta 8 essentially has one less link in the chain. It's derived from CBD. It's extracted from CBD. That is extracted from hemp. So it comes from hemp. So that's why there's like kind of this legal loophole when it comes to Delta 8. But the thing is, with Delta 8, it does come with a mild psychoactive effect. So the way that I compare it to Delta 9, your traditional cannabis, is like if you take a 10 milligram cannabis edible, your Delta 8 is probably equal to like a 5 milligram edible, if that makes sense. And what we've noticed with Delta 8 is that because of that mild high, there's you don't get that induced anxiety that you would typically get if you dose a little bit higher, with traditional cannabis. So a lot of times when people, especially people that don't use cannabis on the regular, they're like, oh, I smoke a little bit too much and I get paranoid and stuff like that. Well, it's because like dosage is a real thing. Like dosing is a real thing. Like you're not going to go to the bar and grab the bottle of Patron and chug it, right? You're going to take one shot. You're going to maybe take 2 shots. You're going to have a drink. You're going to sip it slow. So it's the same type of thing that I think, and it goes back to the misinformation and the education part of it. Like people need to know this when they're using these types of products, because it plays a huge factor in their experience. And if you can get that first experience good with them, right, the first couple, then people feel more comfortable. But a lot of times people have that first time horror story with edibles.
Oh my gosh. I think many of us have been there.
Yeah, I've been there too, but that comes down to the education. Like you have to, like if we had this information available to us before, we wouldn't have had that type of experience,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to, because we were talking kind of a little bit about fitness, as you've been in fitness and you have a fitness firm. So CBD also releases endorphins. So in addition to everything else that it does, CBD modulates other receptors in the body, including those involved with serotonin. which affect mood, opioid receptors, which provide pain relief. And it's thought that CBD may reduce pain by mimicking endorphins without suppressing them. So it's basically not changing, or like, say, for example, using, when we use pain pills to do that, it's not, pushing it down. It's actually allowing it to do what it does, but allowing it to do what it does even better. So like a lot of people say that the runner's high, is caused by the endorphins, but what are the endorphins caused by? It's all about the CBD. So the more we have inside of us as far as the daily diet, the more, we're on the right schedule dosage, as you mentioned, the better everything works, including your serotonin, your, endorphins, all that good stuff that, actually makes you happy and allows you to do what you do best, which is live your life happily and healthy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit it, hit the nail on the head. And that's like, so I can speak from personal experience with what you're talking about, because that's exactly how it works with me. And I even take it a step a little bit further, and I like to microdose before I work out. So with actual, THC and cannabis, because I found that it does help with the pain. Like when you're going through a workout, you're ripping and you're tearing muscle fibers, and you're creating inflammation. And if you have current injuries like myself, I had 2 ACL surgeries, so I get, inflammation build up in my knee all the time. So it's like me microdosing before the gym, it helps with getting through the workout a lot smoother without having to deal with the pain. And then just like my mood is a lot better, because of it. I feel great. Like I'm able to put up with the burn so much longer than if I, hadn't have microdosed, if that makes sense.
Spencer, I love that you just said that. I truly agree. As far as working out and being able to work out longer, isn't that what we all want to do with the burn and have a happier mood while we're doing it? It just makes sense. And again, plant over pills, or plant over the workout. I don't know what a lot of men take this like workout, and I'm sure, that's fine. But if you use this as a complement, and it's all natural, I mean, it's just the right thing to do to get from point A to point B, which is, being fit the way you want to look and being healthy while doing it. Yeah,
absolutely. And when I first created my company, like when it was called Hero Complex, I came from, I wanted to make it more of like a sports and fitness type of brand, but then I realized that I was better suited to kind of make it a little more like medical and lifestyle down the road. So I did make that transition, but that's where it stemmed from. Everything stemmed from me utilizing cannabis and CBD and all the cannabinoids, routinely in my own life. And then I just felt the need, like, hey, if it works so well with me, how can I educate the masses? How can I get my point across and my story across so that other people have this type of an experience and they can feel what I'm feeling, and have the results that I'm having.
I love that. I truly appreciate it. It's so meaningful. And again, Wild West, it's so new, and eventually, hopefully everything is, regulated by the federal government someday. And when that is, I cannot wait to see, how far your company goes with, the heart and the passion and the love that you put into it, for the people that you're working with and generations to come. So it's just a brilliant idea. It's super cool to see, a gentleman who's been in fitness for so long, take to plants to, make the best of yourself, and also help others with that. So I'm really glad that you are the case study. You are the test subject. We're not working with bunnies or animals. You are the case study. And the fact that you're bringing it to others is just brilliant. I love it. Are there any other things you'd like to chat about in regards to CBD?
I'm big with so not only CBD, but exploring other cannabinoids, because CBD is just like the start. That's like the first, cannabinoid that people came out with that wasn't THC. There's CBN, there's CBG, there's THCA. There's so many different cannabinoids that they're now researching and finding and extracting and putting into products that people are, experimenting with and having, specific results with. And I think it's so fascinating that not only like we have all these cannabinoids, but then when you take these cannabinoids and you pair them with terpenes, which is a whole different story, it creates the entourage effect. And then you can start really like niching down what type of products that you create with terpenes and with certain cannabinoids. So that's the type of stuff that fascinates me. It excites me. And it's what I look forward to developing down the road.
How exciting. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see, what's in store for this company. And I love that you brought that up. So many things. It's so odd. Like we're so like highly evolved technology wise, but in regards to plants, it just doesn't seem like we are, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting there. It just takes like so many layers to rip down. Because honestly, I think it stems, and this is my personal opinion, like I think it stems back to just the pharmaceutical companies, right? They generate a ton of money. So why would the government want to give that up, right? So they're doing everything in their power to, slow it down. And I think that's kind of the situation that we're in right now. And hopefully, a lot of science just comes out there. So there's no doubt that we need to legalize this stuff. We need to, get more involved in research and all those types of things. So, yeah.
I love it. So again, just to remind everybody that inflammation, every disease comes from inflammation. So if CBD regulates this, why not incorporate it? And there's a blood-brain barrier, which is a wall. So THC and CBD bind to the receptors to use it in your body. So when CBD is in there, they grab the CBD, the receptors do, which means our bodies can use them. So again, this plant is there for us to use in a special, wonderful way to help regulate, the insides, so we can be the best us. What type of advice would you give to another entrepreneur in regards to CBD and starting a business
that wants to get into like the cannabis and the CBD business? Find mentors. Like find mentors, find people that have been that are at least semi-successful within the industry, because when you find those people, it helps with the learning curve, so that you don't have to go through the mud by yourself, because you definitely go through the mud. Like you're going to go through your trials and tribulations, and it's a lot of I can't really compare it to anything because it's so unique. That's why like I pride myself in developing like new marketing techniques and stuff like that, because I had to literally explore through the depths of the internet every single possible way I could market this type of a product, because traditional marketing, I'm banned, right? So I guess my biggest piece of advice is find a mentor, and or like multiple mentors, and let those mentors help steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's key. Me owning a CBD for myself, I definitely had one of the best mentors who's actually younger than me, but knew all about it. And I was just like, thank the Lord. I had all these CBD people that have built these businesses around me. And I'm like, I'm in Colorado, so it makes sense. But truly, thank the Lord, I would never be where I am today without those mentors. So I love that advice for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Spencer. I really appreciate your time. This has been super educational. And just wondering where we can find you and your product.
Yeah, so you can find our brand Hero online. It's www.herowse.com. And then you can find me on Instagram at hero.spence. And, you can find Hero, our brand, on all social media platforms.
Well, that's awesome. And I just, again, thank you so much for your time and information. And if people, have questions, should they just message you on Instagram? Would that be the best about your product?
Yeah, you can reach out to me on Instagram, or you can shoot me an email at spencer@herowse.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you, Spencer. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks.